Hi, it's the opinionated one back again. I'm kind of my version of dolled up because I'm just coming back from a fun karaoke night of sing-along to the Wicked score. It was great fun. I have a lot of music theater to learn. That wonderful stuff that has been created in my absence, well, humaning and parenting. But that is not what inspires my abrupt return to the camera. And thank God that YouTube takes a minute to load things, because we call this neurobombing in my world. No, what struck me was coming across a YouTube tarot reading by a lady I follow, and I know I owe everybody some links. I need to go back and finish my neuro dumps. I will. However, this young lady is... her name is Connie, and she is selling products and services in an effort to raise funds for somebody she knows who's facing eviction. And I was very much moved to donate. And I was thinking a lot about people who don't walk the walk and talk the talk and, kind of that shit. And she was going on about people in the spiritual community who, seem to have no trouble profiteering and yet don't turn around and seem to, pay Paul, if you will. If you know the reference, you know the reference. So... I was raised as a Catholic by a mom who was born in 1932. So if you know any of the history of the Catholic Church and the math and that, I was kind of raised during the Vatican II era by a Vatican I era mom in a very odd, weird, multi-generation, I don't know. Anyhow. Stuff was a little mixed up, and I am a very fuck around and find out type of person. Some might call it I am a left-hand path. And yet, in middle age, I find myself singing for my local Catholic church. And much like with my life with music theater, the Catholic community is one I tapped out of a long time ago. Reading the writing on the walls, which told me that I and my kind were not welcome. My kind being a what I would identify, and I'd please don't step on any toes because my way may not be your way. But I know my way is not the only acceptable way. I would like my way to be a little bit more acceptable, though. However, walking in a bisexual, polyamorous, wildly neurodivergent skin, institutions and organizations that told me that I had to be one thing didn't sit very well. And I am not good at ignoring social inequity. So, the intrinsic implied message that God talks to the Pope. The Pope can only be from the cardinals, from the bishops, from the priesthood, which only can be men. So really, like in my 4-year-old brain, it was very clear to me that the message was clearly, resoundingly, and wholly God only talks to men. Music theater helped me. Believe it or not, my first foray back onto the stage in 25 years was in a production called Children of Eden, and I almost didn't do it. I almost didn't bother with the audition because I was so put off by the fact that I knew it had some kind of religious context, so I knew it would bring out a lot of religious people. I also didn't know the score because, I've been sleeping and parenting and lifing and caretaking and deathbed watching and shit for 25 years. But I was very, very, very lucky. I did a horrible, terrible, embarrassing, please do not look for that performance. For a local community theater who, my God, I don't know how I did not get cut the night before the show. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you for all the grace that I was given. Because, God, I needed that. That show kept me alive. Which kind of brings me back to why I'm making this video and why I'm doing it now and exactly where I'm at. See, I know that I kind of read like the average crazy, maybe a self-absorbed possibly, bitch. Kind of, average white class, white bread, homogenized, maybe soccer mom, can't tell, kind of average size, average. I can easily read as the norm. And when you read as a norm, people presume that the data that actually aggregates into that perceived norm is the same across the board, because that's what a norm is. However, I am not a norm, and I have fucked around and found out a lot. And that performance that I am referring to that saved my life took place in the context of me and my 2 children and my elderly father and my 2 dogs and 2 cats and partridge in a pear tree of average white bread, well-classed, well-educated, stupidly white girl privilege, norm-appearing ass. With the most normative job and title in the world, school teacher. That role. That role kept me alive because me and everything I love was under existential threat. See, girl here is sitting across from the house she used to own, a 2,500 square foot colonial in suburbia across from a church that I have wanted to go see the inside of and felt a little funny about for a while because it's a slightly different religion. But I know that the art in that church, even if I don't understand anything else, the art is spectacular. And that church and that house are across the street from each other. And I would wake up every morning for 3.5 years and look at the church across the street and think, I'm going there the next time they're open. And I couldn't even get non-occupied by mostly everybody else's needs and wants time to go across the street and look at some art for 3 years. And in the meantime, I couldn't hold a job because every time I turned around, the world was falling apart and I was getting literal 911 calls from some member of my family who was either in the hospital or had police on their way to take them to jail while I was trying to work. Nobody knew it. But I was in the midst of a real fucking nightmare that I contributed my own amount to. And I'm not here to play a blame game. But it was a profoundly toxic soup that caused very real and actual ongoing harm to me and my children. Now, I look pretty norm, and here's a funny little side effect of my weird fucking neurodivergence, is when I slip into a panic attack, the more emotionally escalated I get, the bigger my words become. And as a multi-hyphenated whatever you want to call me, who studied too many words along the way of my crazy ass, spent way too many years in school, and should have the student debt to prove it, thank you. My vocabulary when I am emotionally escalated often supersedes that of the people with whom I am trying to clearly and succinctly communicate, and my intellect becomes a cudgel of defense mechanism to people who are emergency responders trying to sort out who's the fucking villain and who should be taken to jail. So, I found myself on multiple occasions literally being the one under physical threat and being threatened by police that I did not call thank you. Onlookers called. And the police left me there. They did. We got some problems, people. So, while my experience with homelessness is probably the most lilified white girl privileged bitch experience ever, just for the deets, because I'm petty like that. My ex-husband, who illegally used my adult son's social security number to file taxes as head of household to cock-block me so I couldn't get an attorney, as he divorced me by default and took everything I had. Yeah, I'm processing, sorry. The defining characteristic, the final moment of the disaster that was our marriage. He knew that I was supposed to be moving out of the house that he got legally. He knew the date. He saw the signed fucking contract. And this man evicted me in the middle of a workday at a brand new job. 9 days. 9 days before we were scheduled to move out. With movers and humanity. And, I get to pack all my shit, which I had been doing slowly. But no, he and his new girlfriend and her husband and their friends got to sort through my belongings. Got to keep the die-making and tool-making equipment that belongs to my father and all of his deceased brothers. They got to keep china and crystal that belonged to my mother, of whom I am the only living relative. They got to sort through my personal items. Leave that as your imagination wants to fill in. leaving nobody with any place to sleep, while my life fell apart in front of a new job yet again because of choices that he made. And I was too distracted to pay attention. To say that I effectively read what happened as outright theft, attempted murder of every member of my family, character assassination, libel, and I could go on and on and on with a list of actual criminal offenses of which he has not been charged, in addition to the actual criminal offenses which his lily white, blue-eyed butt got to walk away from, because he's so good at masking. Yeah, you know, the one where he brandished a firearm at minors, including an infant, because he was scarred and he accidentally reached for the gun instead of his CPAP machine. That one. Those charges that somehow he didn't serve jail time. Yeah, the charges where he tried to kill my son with a vehicle by running over him multiple times, skipped out of state, hid at his girlfriend's house in Georgia. Oh yeah, I tell the truth. While his wife tried to figure out what the hell was going on and accidentally gave him his cover story because, oops, I forgot I knew hypnosis. I didn't believe my son when my son came to me one night. He couldn't live in my house because of my ex-husband, what my ex-husband was doing in collaboration with other people and my accidental, intentional blindness. My son came to me one day and he said, "Mom, that man has tried to kill me 4 times. When are you going to believe me when he tries to kill you?" And here's the scary thing. Yours truly, behavior analyst, fucked around and found out, kinky woman who likes to play with power dynamics overtly, covertly, and can handle a bit of pain. Yeah, I had to wait to find out until he not only tried to kill me by running over me with a Volvo CX-90, I'll let you read the police report. You can sort out if you think it was accidental or on purpose. No, that little experience was actually my check. Would this man who swore before his highest order, which is a fucking elected judge, we won't even go there, but one of these things and not the other. Anyhow, would this man who swore to love and protect me, and I swore to honor and obey, would this man really hit the gas as I was putting my butt in the car? Yep, he sure did. He sucked me right under the car. I can prove to you that I am Wonder Woman. You know how? Because I had the left rear tire of said Volvo CX-90, which, by the way, that motherfucker made sure was the only thing I had left to my name, including my panties, because he sorted through them. He made sure that that machine was the same one that I only walked away from the marriage with. Yeah, I'm Wonder Woman. I don't know that many people who can tell you what the undercarriage of an whatever the hell that damn 6,000-pound SUV was. I can. It went over my left lower calf. One leg. Only one leg, thank you. I was blessed that the coincidence was that it went over my leg at apparently the correct angle, that I did not crush my leg. I cannot tell you the number of medical staff who came into the ER room while I forced my then husband to sit there and shut his mouth so that he didn't get fucking arrested right there on the spot while I sorted out what the hell was what. But the number of medical personnel who came in with their Dopplers and X-rays and CTs and all the shit, wondering, oh no, this woman, she's clearly not lying about having been run over by a car. How does she not have catastrophic harm? I'm lucky that way. I'm so lucky that I was lucky enough to happen myself into probably the best job I could have gotten for where I was at that time. So when my world fell apart and I got a call from my son at 10 a.m. on a school day saying, we have 30 minutes to get out of the house. They're making us go sit on the porch, to my arguably medically fragile father. That was intentional. That was on purpose. That was done with forethought. I am telling my story because so many times I called and asked for help. I didn't even know how to articulate what help to ask for. I spoke in the best way I could, like a professional, clearly stating what I think I saw. Nobody believed me because I look like a norm. And at various points in my life, I just look like a fat bitch. That is a stereotype, that being the fat bitch, you don't get in the room very long. I'm not a fat bitch anymore. I'm still a bitch. In fact, I will argue that, no, I am not a bitch. I am the queen bitch. I taught some music students in Las Vegas that once. I gave them a little bit of a grammar lesson. Maybe some of them will find these videos and giggle about it, because honestly, I think it's hysterical. I'm so grateful for fun stories. And this, too, little nightmare story that I have just spent 23 minutes sharing without really making my point, will once again become a story of, you're not going to believe what happened to Dory once. I got 1 million of those. I'm very blessed. And I'm lucky that I can kind of tell a story if you can listen and keep up and not go off to sleep. But I was really moved to make a video tonight because my current circumstances do not allow me to be able to contribute and help somebody who is facing eviction and homelessness. In some part because of my story and the harm that can be done when somebody doesn't take a moment to think through their actions. So my way of contributing to Connie's little fundraising event tonight is to make this video and tell my story. I am your average white suburban double graduate degree college debt owing woman who has done a whole lot of invisible labor and done a whole lot of service. And there are a few people on my journey, and they know who they are, that have taught me the meaning of friend. But some of those entities that like to preach and proselytize and say that they have all the answers, they look a lot like my ex-husband, to be really honest. Average, white bread, whitewashed, doe-eyed, blue boy, mask wearing. I'm pretending to be this thing, but I don't have a heart. I called on my church for help. I called on my family for help. I called on my friends for help. I called on my community that some of them know or some of them don't, but I go back a minute with my community. And because I am me, those who could help did. But a lot of people and a lot of entities that should have helped didn't. So I'm going to link Connie's video to this YouTube post because I am a woman who walks my talk. And you can promise if I say something, it's going to take me a while to get my 2 cents together to make good on my word. But you can bet your bottom bitch I always make good on my word. I know who I am and I know what I value. And I will always put my money or whatever resources I can give where my mouth is. Please follow the video link. Please look for places and ways that you can help and contribute. There are a lot of people hurting and there are a lot of people in need right now. Sometimes the people hurting and in need most are also our ex-monsters. Lead with love. It's the only way I know how to do it.